Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainal. The title of this video is India fires several missiles at terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. Right, and this is breaking news. Right, this is all leading towards the Third World War, right, and ultimately the destruction of Babylon the Great. Right, and that's why Esau Edom is moving with great wrath, because they have but a short time. That's because the Most High Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, is stirring the nations. Right, we're in a time of war, just like what Ecclesiastes chapter 7 talks about. There's a time and place for everything. Right, and now we're in a time of war, and it's clear as day that we are. Right, so basically the redemption, our redemption is drawing nigh. It says Pakistan says it is responding to active war after Indian missile strike. Right, it says India fired several missiles into Pakistan overnight on Tuesday. All right, today is Tuesday. It says according to Pakistan, which said it is responding to the act of war. So now these two nations are going at it. Right, they're doing tit for tat. Kind of how we seen starting with Israel and Lebanon and the Gaza Strip and the Houthis, right? Kind of how we seen going on with Russia and Ukraine, right? And those things are still going on. And pretty soon we still have we have to see what's up with Turkey over there in Syria, So anyway, it says the attacks labeled Operation Sindoor targeted 9 sites of terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, according to Indian Defense Minister. No Pakistan military facilities were targeted, the Indian Defense Minister said, calling their actions focused, measured, and non-escalatory. So basically, they said that they attacked precise locations in Pakistan of terrorist organizations, but Pakistan does not care. It says the Pakistan Army said India struck 6 locations. It says at least 8 people were killed, including a 3-year-old, and another 35 were injured, according to the Pakistani Army, which claimed civilian buildings were targeted. And at the end of the day, these numbers could change. It could be more injured, more dead. Who knows? It says so now Pakistan is saying no. They targeted civilian infrastructure and not terrorist infrastructure, and nonetheless they're saying that they want to attack back. It says Pakistan's prime minister said in a statement that Pakistan has every right to respond forcefully to the act of war imposed by India, and a forceful response is being given. Right, so that's the point. Right, they're going to war. Pretty much, they're saying that we're going to respond, and this all goes back to Bible prophecy. Says the army said it is responding from the air and ground, and I think even they destroyed like 3 of the jets recently. So far, Pakistan has destroyed 3 of India's jets. So is what the news is saying. So this is Isaiah 13:1. It says the burden of Babylon, right? And all this is a burden for Babylon. Let's go down here because we're there. This is between India and Pakistan, and here we go down here somehow in the mix. We got, let me see, this guy here. President Donald Trump responded to India's missile attack at the Oval Office, calling it a shame, right? Just heard about it, Trump said when he asked by a reporter, Trump said when asked about a reporter for his reaction to the strikes. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time now. Trump added, I just hope it ends very quickly. Right, that's the same thing he said with Israel and all Israel's wars. Just get it over with, basically. And they're still going on because Most High Yahweh has them in a state of war. Right, they're fighting each other, they're divided. This is what Yahweh wants here in these last days. So this is a burden for Babylon because of many prophecies. You have Ezekiel 38, right, which go into the king of the Medes, which is Russia, joining with many allies to come against Babylon the Great. And you also have Obadiah 1, around verse 7, saying that America's allies will turn against them. You have Revelations, I believe is 17, where it says the 10 horns shall hate him. Yeah, right. It says the Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the horse, shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. See, so all of this is doom for Babylon. The whole world is going to war and pursuing to what? Always at what? Revelations 11, 14, that third world war. Revelations 11 and 14 says the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, right? And this is going back to the world wars, right? You had two already, and the third one is currently brewing, right? It just hasn't went nuclear yet. This is Isaiah 13 and 1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the noble. I have commanded my sanctified ones, have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. It says the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. And that's the point I wanted. Basically, the Lord is mustering the host of the battle. He's mustering the nations together, right? He's calling them over there to that Levant region area over there by Israel for the Third World War. And that's why you have these many different proxy wars and rumors of wars breaking out, right? Everyone is on edge and in the mindset of being strong and defending themselves, not backing down to little things that happen, or not even little, just attacks or whatever. Maybe something they might have brushed off. They worked out a deal before. They're no longer in that age and that time, right? So that's the point I wanted. It says the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh host mustered the hosts of the battle, right? And that's why you have these many things happening. So let me grab a little bit of this. This is the return of Yahweh Shai, right? What happens on the return? It says Matthew 24 and 4, and Yahweh Shai answered and said to them, take heed that no man deceive you. Matter of fact, let me just get through. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came up to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? And we, the hopeful elect, the prophets, the men of the Lord, the mouthpiece of the Lord Yahweh is explaining to you the different things that need to come to pass, like the MOTB. Right? Esau is going to move with great wrath because he has but a short time, right, to implement this system. Pretty soon, the nations are going to be fighting and at war, full scale, blown war. So he's gonna implement that MOTB system. In the process of that, Jacob's trouble is going to be happening, right? Because he needs order out of chaos, right? So he's going to make it chaotic here in Babylon the Great, right? For people to submit to his will, which is trying to, implant you with a micro chip, a digital device. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. See, that's the point. So moving on, Luke 21. You want to grab Luke 21 and 25 is basically a precept to what I just read. It says, the return of Yahweh Shai, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Now, where it's going to, we have the different moon, signs in the sky, like the lunar moon, the red moon, solar eclipses and things like that. And all of those things have been taking place this year, right? And there's even more to come. It says, men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the power of heaven shall be shaken. Right, Yahweh Shai is coming with a great host of angels, and also the nuclear missiles will fly. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Right? And we're in that time. It says, and he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own self that summer is now now nigh at hand. So likewise, ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Yahweh is nigh at hand. Right? So this is something to be happy about. Right? The world is in turmoil, and going through it. It says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Right? So all prophecy will come and pass. Right? The scriptures say, the Most High's words don't go out void. They go and accomplish that what he sent, it to go accomplish. So Babylon the Great will be destroyed, and these wars, that being World War III, will take place, and it will go nuclear. This is Jeremiah 51:6. It say, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, right? He will render unto our recompense. So this is why we see the things happening here in the world. Because we're at the end. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, right? So, Babylon the Great's policy, the laws and things like that, and even basically joining themselves with Babylon in their fiat currency, and all of these different things. And now what? Babylon the Great is falling and crumbling, and the system is collapsing, and the nations are feeling it too, It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So, the judgment of Babylon the Great is nigh at hand. That's why we have these nations, doing what they're doing. It says, Joel 2:1, blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and is grown, there have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after, even to the years of many generations. And this is going to the nuclear missiles that will fly. It says, so that's the point. And basically, the day of the Lord is nigh at hand. That's what I'm getting into with all these things happening. Because there's been plenty of wars. We had World War I, World War II, and a lot of different other wars happening. When you go to Matthew 24, the wars and rumors of wars. But now we see and hear around the world that they're talking about World War III, right? And it's all leading up to that, what I just said, the World War III, which is the last war. This is Isaiah 34:1. It says, come near, you nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, right? That's that righteous anger. And his fury upon all their armies. So that's why you got these armies going back and forth with each other. I have a right to defend myself, or I have the right to attack. It says, he have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. So, it's already prophesied that these nations will go down and that they will fight each other. And the things that we're seeing happen around the world would be happening. And the prophets are here giving you the warning to let you know, that these things are happening. Because why? The scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So, knowing that these things are happening, what are happening, it brings you comfort. Right? So, hey, blowing a trumpet on that, Lord willing, you were edified from the lesson. I'll say shalom to those elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.